Good morning. Hand today is going to be 7-3 offsuit. We are under the gun at a 25 NL full ring. We fold. Next player open raises, 2 big blinds, and then small blind 3 bets, and it folds back. So we're at 14-11. We look at ranges. No real notes, but we do have a lot of hands on them. So raise first in stats 14%, 40 out of 291. I've raised up, looked at 14%, and I didn't like what was showing, so I adjusted it a little bit. I think you've got these hands, these Broadway hands. I think you probably have these suited connectors, pocket pairs down to, I would have said maybe 5 or 6, but we had to add some more pocket pairs to kind of get us closer to 14. I think ace 2, ace 3, ace 4, ace 5 is in there. Maybe ace 9 that gets us up to 14, but you can see it's a 14% range. It's pretty good. Pretty I'm going to say fairly balanced range for this guy. Does the bet sizing have anything to do with this range? Does it suggest anything about his range? I'm going to say no. That this could be a tournament player, or he's used to playing tournaments and has learned or is utilizing the smaller raise first in sizes. Who knows? Villain 7's got, we do have some hands, only 76 on here. We've got a 3-bet range of aces and 10s. So for him, I just kind of set up a range like this. Make sure we have 10s plus. I probably could have 9s as well. With this 3-bet range, I would assume he would 3-bet with some of these other hands as well. If we go up to here, we're at 5%. I just think probably has a little bit more. This is 7.5%. Kind of falls in line with the overall 8% 3-bet range, but that's 2 out of 26. I could easily see an aggressive player making this play against a small raise first in with ace jack, and it might not have the offsuit hands. Could be something like this. This is 5.7%. Actually, let's go with this. This might be a little bit better. All right, so it's back. Villain 1 4 bets now. We have our 4-bet range of queens plus ace king. So I think once he 4-bets, this drastically reduces what he's going to play. I think he would have just called with a lot of these other hands. I think like ace queen's probably calling, king queen's calling, ace jack's calling, pocket pairs are probably calling. These ace 2 to ace 5s are probably calling. There's a chance that he's doing it as well with maybe an ace 5, an ace 4, or an ace 4 just to balance, but I think probably not. So, wanted to see here, you've got queens plus ace king. This is, once you get to the 4-bet range, I think it really narrows it down. And then villain 7 calls. So I think once he calls, I think you probably still have the pocket pairs here. I think 3-bet, he's probably calling all of these. I think, though, he could have 5-bet. I just kind of feel like aces is probably a 5-bet. And I think kings usually are 2. But we're going to scale those down to 50%. And leave the rest and say he's probably just calling with that range. So we see a flop. 9 jack jack. You would assume this misses. That with 2 jacks on the board and with the pre-flop action, that we're not really looking at a whole lot of jacks. Yes, a small blind could have ace jack, could have hit flop trips. That's definitely a possibility, but for the most part, we're looking at ace king or pocket pair. Villain 7 checks, no big surprise. This guy bets. He bets half pot now. So I think half pot, he's probably doing that with his overpairs. Does he do that with his overcards 2. I guess we could say yes. That's with the ace high. Let's color code this so we can see the breakdown. We're looking at about half and half. Definitely, I think he would do that with like your ace king of hearts, probably your ace king of diamonds, because you could continue with how the betting was going. You are going to try to represent a strong hand here, and knowing that this probably misses villain 7, especially if you have ace king. You're kind of hoping that he was calling with an ace king or ace king, ace queen, king queen hand. You're kind of hoping he would just fold the ace king, ace queen if you have ace king yourself. So I think we're just going to go basically 100% range here. And then villain calls, and I think when he calls, I think quads probably just calls, full house calls. I think he's going to be slow playing, probably even 3 of a kind is going to slow play. Pocket pair less than top card with 10. Yeah, I think he's calling because you've got ace king to contend with. So I think you've got your flush draw as well. King queen with the gut shot. Would he call that? Maybe not. Let's scale that and just say 50% of the time he might call that. Overcards are probably just going to be a fold, like ace king. We could scale those to 50% too. Ace queen, I think, is just probably going to be a fold. So I do think we reduce our range. I think for the size of the pot, I think he's calling once. If it goes check and he bets, I think he's going to start folding some of his hands. So the 9 comes out. That really doesn't change much. So he's got a check. Now he's betting basically less than half pot. This looks like he's trying to get him in. So here, once we get the 9, I think it's just overpair 100%. I don't think I think he would take it. Take a free showdown. So I just think it's a straight over pair. Villain calls again. So what are we looking at? Really, it's that, you know, we saw his hand. Well, I saw his hand. Flush draw could conceivably call again. King queen. I think it's, yeah, maybe the flush draw. I think all of those could actually. Even if you set up 10s, if you think, okay, well, I don't think he has, you know, I think he's just playing it with ace king, ace queen. I think 10s could call, but I think 10s should probably be folding at this point. You made that call on the flop with the expectation that if he had ace king, ace queen, he was just going to check behind on the turn. He didn't, which makes me think in this board it's going to be much heavier on queens, kings, and aces. That's what I would think. Because I don't really expect the ace kings to be betting. I guess we can add the flush draw here. Ace king of hearts. Let's do that. Make it some chance that he has it. All right, and then 4 hearts gets there. That's a little concerning. Villain 7 checks. I think he would probably check everything. However, yeah, even quads and full house. I think it's just you're checking. That's a, I don't know. Personally, I think that's a bad river card. I think with the 4 hearts, you're just gonna have to bet quads or full house. You're not really representing the heart, but I think the hearts it will freeze the bet. So that's why with a strong quads or full house, you know, strong full house, probably just needs to be betting here. So he bets pushes them all in. He calls. Man, this is a big pot, I'm going to tell you that. I guess he would have flusher and overpair. No bluffs. This is what I'm going for here. He calls. So, yeah, again, I guess if you think you've got a 10. I think I would be shocked to see a 10. And if he does show a 10, he shows a 10. But it's one of those, if he's reading him for ace king all of the way, I could see him call flop in the turn, but then on the river, really, 3 streets, you're basically getting all in with a pair of 10s. And I guess he's able to be aggressive, but I just think it's going to be an overpair. And my guess is he'll have the 10. That's what he's going to show us, because that's was I'm going to show you in the notes. Called any 4 bets with 10s. So this must be pocket 10s. So we get all in. He shows aces. We had that in his range. Aces, kings, queens. I think his play would be consistent with queens, kings, and aces with all of them. So aces, no big surprise, and he does show the 10s. So the 10s are somewhat surprising. I don't think I could call with the 10s on the river. At a 10 NL game, there's no way. I'm not even sure if I could call 10s on the turn. At that point, I call him on the flop, and then he continues betting. I'm just going to put him on an overpair. And a small chance he'll have a flush draw, but is it really worth it to ensure or to check to see if he actually does have a flush draw? In a 25 NL game, you probably have to call more with those 10s. So I think the slightly better players are going to be looking at balance, but this is going to be a pretty hard board to establish balance. With our narrow ranges based on, basically these, you've got ace king. That's going to be your balance hands. So 16 combos of those versus your 18. It's going to be hard to balance. All right, so we're going to have to get some notes here on this guy. So this guy had aces. So RFI 2 big blinds, EP 2, and 4-bit 2, 24.8 big blind with aces. With ace of clubs, ace of spades, he is in position. And then I think it was about half pot. That was less than half pot. Yeah, I think we'll just do 50%. 50%, bet 50%, bet 50%, and then I guess we'll go bet that might be about 18%. We'll just say bet 20% all in on a jack of hearts, 9 of hearts, jack of diamonds, 9 of clubs, 4 hearts. Okay. And we'll do this guy now. Okay, so he three bet. Let's see here. Faced. 2 big blind, RFI in small blind. Nope, from EP2 and 3-bet to 8.122. Actually, we'll do this. 3-bet, 8.22, call to 4.8 big blinds in small blind with tens. Out of position. Now he check called, 20% all in. All right. So I think we kind of covered it. I think tens are probably going to have to be a fold. The flop call is I think fine. It's going to be the turn, I think, when you should really start considering, should I start folding? And that's going to start playing exploitative play. So we can actually check this out on GTO, so let's do that real quick. All right. Got the ranges copied over. Let's get our starting pot. So our starting pot is 50.6. Effective stacks, 110. We'll do advance 50%. 50%. All right. Built the tree, import it. We want a check. Accept the changes, confirm. We'll run the solver and we'll be back. All right, this finished real quickly. All right, so he's gonna bet. Kind of expected him to bet about 100%, so no big surprise. And then villain's gonna be calling. Check raising. GTO saying we should. Yeah, I could see that. We could have probably excluded some stuff. We didn't consider the check raising. Check raising with ace jack. I think exploitatively, I would probably scale. There's probably more check calls than check raises. And then on the turn, probably just a check call again because now they filled up. But I think that would be okay. So he calls. And then the turn, let's just do this. 9 of clubs. So 9 of clubs comes back, and now, villain should be checking again. We've got our betting range, so that's kind of okay. I think queens, when we talk about a balance range, I said it's going to be hard to balance. This is what we're talking about. To balance, he's going to have to start checking some of his queens, some of his overpairs. I think it's pretty hard for players to do. But that could actually be good. You check your queens. It may encourage tens to bet. So let's say he just checked here. Let's give him a 4 hearts. Now you could see like check. I bet. I don't know. I was gonna say I bet tens would be a check call. Now it's a check fold in that spot. I guess with a heart. Let's change it to a 4 clubs. Yeah, still mostly fold. So okay. So I was kind of thinking if you check, you may encourage tens to call. But GTO is trying to set up a balance ranged. See, that's 25. Yeah, right. 25. Oh, this was to get it in smoothly. I should take that off. Let's do that. Let's build the tree again. Build new tree. Let's edit or import it. Take this out. Accept. Confirm. We're going to run the solver. You'll see how fast it is. All right. Still check. Bets basically 100%. Yep. Now you have villain should be calling, but same type of deal. All right, 9 of clubs. Yeah, still checking. Villain's betting 50 here, so we still have the balance, and you can see now we're dealing with basically calling or folding. So GTO doesn't like the call. I think it's basically, given his stack size, it's probably, if you're going to invest, might as well invest all of it. I guess if you raise, you're looking at, those ace kings. That's what you're targeting. And maybe he calls with the ace king or not. But yeah, you can see GTO is basically saying fold the tens. And that's kind of what I was thinking about too on the turn. You called it once, but then on the turn, I think you probably need to fold it. All right, so it kind of wraps up this hand. It was interesting. We haven't really reviewed a 4-bet pot many times, but when you see those 4-bet pots, it's normally big pocket pairs or ace king. So hopefully you enjoy this. If you do, look tomorrow for another.